Hello, welcome to InSight. I'm Wendy Brokaw, and we are talking about spring, full bloom, things going on, events happening, especially at the state capitol, which is why I have a guest today, Stacy Nalley, the outreach coordinator for the Oregon State Capitol. And the
Right.
first thing on the agenda is the Cherry Blossom Day coming right up. What's
That's
going
right.
on?
Saturday, March 18th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. We'll be celebrating Cherry Blossom Day at the Capitol at State Capitol State Park. We are going to be fully outside across the street from the Capitol. If some of your listeners and viewers don't know, the Capitol is under a large scale construction project.
Yes, it
And so
is.
the historic portion of the building is not accessible even to us. And so we are hosting this first in-person event since the pandemic. We haven't had Cherry Blossom Day in person since 2019. So we're really excited to get together again. We'll have a large tent across the street on the mall. And starting at 11 a.m., Monmouth Taiko will be kicking off the festival, which we're really excited about. This year, the cherry blossoms are a little bit behind schedule. And so I like
I've
to think,
noticed a little of that. They're just,
yeah,
when do you think they'll be out?
I'm thinking towards the end of the month, they'll probably be in peak bloom. We're a couple weeks behind with the cold weather that we've had. In fact, it's just
Sure.
downpour and kind of cold again this morning. I try to go out and take pictures of the blossoms as they start to emerge and put them on our social media, so people that aren't from around here will at least know when the perfect time to come visit us is. But I will tell you, this year I kind of like to envision the festival as an awakening of the trees. We're going to be out there with those big drums. We have a kimono fashion show, a bone dance. So there'll be music. We have probably more than 20 tables with activities, free, family friendly, fun. Even the city of Salem Mayor Chris Hoy will be with us around noon to read a proclamation about Cherry Blossom Day, and also to present the city of Salem new flags, which I don't know if you've
Oh,
seen them, but they have a sakura, which is a cherry blossom, prominently on them. And they're going to be giving the flags to the Salem sister cities, the Salem and Kawagoa. And they will be then taking those flags to Japan, which is really exciting.
Cherry Blossom Day has a wonderful history. Could you fill us in a little bit about that and why it's so important?
Absolutely. So the cherry trees on the mall were planted in the 1990s, and they were very small to begin with. We have more than 150 Akabano cherry trees, which you can see behind me in full bloom.
Akabano?
Um, Akabono,
Oh,
cherry trees. That's right. And they were actually grown in Boring, Oregon, and then brought here and put on the mall. They're a flowering variety, but cherries have a significance to Salem. We are the cherry city. We have held festivals. We have had groups called the Cherryans. We used to have a parade where we had Queen Anne and King Being cherry. So it's just really a part of the city of Salem's history. And so when we were diving into things that we could do at the Capitol that would honor the traditions and the history of Salem, Cherry Blossom Day was one of them. And it also pays homage, of course, to these beautiful trees out on the mall, but also the significance and importance of our ties with the Japanese culture, which also go back um,
tell us a little
hundreds
about
of
that.
years. Yeah. So,
Hundreds of years.
yes, into the 1800s. In fact, I mean, it's so weird when you think about it that way, and how long ago that actually was. But a big history in Portland, Salem, the Willamette Valley. You look at the Bing cherry variety, which was actually a culture that came out of OSU, and that region, with his name was Ah Bing. But again, a Japanese cultivar that he originated, and I think that's really kind of exciting also.
That's
But
interesting because when I think cherries, I think Bing cherries. I didn't know that it had such a local history.
yes, I know. I didn't either until I started researching more about the history in our state, and I think that I mean, that's kind of cool to just dive in and learn about anyhow. But yeah, there is a lot of history there.
And tell us about weathergrams. That sounds interesting. What's that all about?
It is. This is a new activity that we're bringing forth this year. The Capitol calligraphers right here in Salem are busy penning weathergrams right now. So this is a recyclable craft paper, something that's, a strip of paper, and they're writing poems and haikus, and then they're going to be hanging them in the trees starting on March 18th for Cherry Blossom Day. So people that come can read the poems, but they can also take those weathergrams out of the trees if they want, and they can use them like a bookmark or just a piece of art. I think what's really interesting about the concept of weathergrams is they were invented right here in Oregon, in Portland, actually, in the 1970s. It was a calligrapher that came up with this idea of using a piece of craft paper and writing poems and hanging them in the trees. And they're called weathergrams because the weather starts to disintegrate them and they go back into nature, or they're picked up by a bird, for instance, and they help make a nest. But the beginning of the weathergram, there's a couple of rules. One is that Japanese vermilion ink needs to be used on that very first letter. So it's this beautiful, vivid orange. And then the rest is usually in black. And then it's ended with either a Chinese chop or a Japanese hanko, which sometimes are a stamp, carved initial or monograms that they then put in red at the very end. And they're absolutely beautiful. In fact, I provided a couple of photos for you. So hopefully your viewers can see that.
Oh, they really are beautiful. How long does it take them to disintegrate? I'm sure people will want to go, oh, I want to see these.
Yeah, they will be in the trees until April 1st. So at the end of the Yozakura, any weathergrams that are still up, the club is going to come and take out of the trees. But it is an interactive activity, and we ask the public to come down and not only read them, but if one speaks to you, to take it with you.
You could take it with you.
That's
Oh,
right.
that's beautiful. Oh, weathergrams. That sounds lovely. Calligraphy is such an exact and beautiful art. I can appreciate what it takes to make even one character and letter.
Yes, I mean, it is a labor of love, and I'm really excited to be working with the Capitol calligraphers for that interactive activity this year.
We owe so much to all of these Japanese communities and what they've done here.
That's right. I mean, we have the Japanese American Society of Oregon out of Portland. They have the Japanese American Museum up there in Portland. We have the Japanese Gardens also in Portland. We have a Japanese garden in Gresham also that is very lovely. They host different activities. In fact, we've given Japanese Garden a shout out on our social media because they host all month long Japanese tea ceremonies and different music and exhibits that they have going on there. So, the public can participate in a number of levels and also see amazing blossoming cherry trees along Tom McCall Waterfront Park in Portland. So it's not just here, it's something that's statewide, and people can get out and just start to enjoy nature in spring. And hopefully we have warmer weather coming.
So, are any of your activities going to be inside the Capitol?
No, all of them will be outside, including starting March 25th to April 1st, which I really hope we have good blooms out on the trees by then. Oregon State Parks will be hosting a Yozakura, which is a nighttime bloom viewing of the cherry blossoms. We will have lights out under the trees that will illuminate them from below, and
Oh,
also have
how
Japanese
beautiful.
lanterns hanging in the trees. Yes,
Oh, that's
it is really beautiful. And last year it was very well attended. We only had it one night. So this year we've expanded it to a week, and the trees will be lit from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. nightly, between those two Saturdays, which is also spring break week.
Oh, speaking of which, you have something planned for spring break week. Tell us
Yeah,
about the Passport to Fun.
yeah, Passport to Fun, we've been hosting for 8 years, where we have a lot of partners in downtown Salem that will provide free family friendly activities. Uh, Families can download a passport online and then go to different stops. So, Willamette Heritage Center, Deepwood Museum, Salem Multicultural and World Beat Institute, the City of Salem Library, Halliford Museum, and then State Capitol State Park. Um, and the Capitol, we have kind of like a scavenger hunt where you can find what year we became a state in the mall, and then rub that with a pencil on a passport. But other stops, they will get a stamp for their passport. And if they fill out 4 or more stamps, they can enter to win a prize basket. And the prize baskets are full of great stuff. We have books, we have stuffed animals, frisbees. I have them over on my desk over here. So I'm just glancing like, wow, what do we have? We have all kinds of stuff in there.
You were mentioning that Deepwood Estate and Gardens is also on the passport list. All of these places you're talking about are going to be in full spring bloom too at the same time.
Yes,
What a wonderful set of outdoor activities. In years past, what have you noticed about what people enjoy doing what do they tell you?
well, a lot of them just love getting out and learning more about their own communities, because a lot of these families are local. I will tell you, in the past, we've had families that have won the basket that come from Oregon City. So the passport brings regional families to engage in these activities and visit these stops for the very first time. So they're learning and exploring and engaging in our community. And I think that's fantastic, just for them to learn some of the more cultural aspects of what we have here and historical aspects. When you're looking at Willamette Heritage Center and Deepwood, again, deeply rooted in the history of this community, and then the cultural aspect that the World Beat Gallery brings and the Halliford Museum brings, and their rotating exhibits and what they have for families. I think it's great for them to get out and explore. And the City of Salem Library does a fantastic job also of programming that entire week for kids. I mean, from toddlers up to teenagers, they have like this whole computerized gaming thing that they do called Jackbox, which I've actually done before, and it's a lot of fun. But they're doing that for teens, and it's just a way to engage your family and have some fun while they're out of school for a week.
Would you please tell us how it works again? That sounds like so much fun.
Sure.
Passport to Fun.
Passport to Fun. So they can look on social media or our website, download and print out a passport. It is a 2-page document, double-sided document, and it would list all of those stops, what hours they're open, because each place is open different operating hours. It'll talk about what activities they will have at each stop. And if you go there, they will stamp that passport. Again, 4 or more stamps. You visit 4 or more of those locations, and you'll be able to cut off the bottom of your passport and enter to win one of 3 prize baskets.
Stacy, tell us, who is the sponsor of all these activities we're talking about?
Um, all of these activities are sponsored by the Oregon State Capitol Foundation. They're a nonprofit 501c3 that believes in the history and, of course, in the Capitol building, and really in regards to the heritage of this place.
Oregon has such a rich multicultural history, and that's something that the Oregon State Capitol Foundation has emphasized in its mission.
That's right. In fact, the Capitol Foundation is preserving the history of the Capitol, enhancing the dignity and the beauty of the building, and providing cultural and educational opportunities for the public. And I think that's, to your point that you were talking about earlier, multiculturalism and how important that is, the diversity of our state, and seeing it inside the Capitol. And we do that through exhibits that are rotating and they come in and out. We also have a wonderful new welcome center when the building reopens in 2025 that we're going to have this huge party and showcase for, that talk about the many different communities within our state and some of the amazing things that they have done and that they bring us. So these are just things that are, really important. Important to highlight. People that come in the building want to see themselves, and we want to share that and honor that by hosting those exhibits, by having their stories inside the Capitol.
Ellie, one of the things that you did was make these exhibits and their histories accessible. Can you tell us what people can access in the way of multimedia help to enjoy these multicultural stories?
Yeah. The Welcome Center is a digital welcome center. So there are screens on the wall, and we have closed captioning on all of the videos. We do have QR codes that can take you to those pages. And that way, if you do speak a different language, it can translate that information for you. On the screens themselves, we have all the information available in English and in Spanish.
Well, along with the renovations going on inside, are a lot of putting to good use what we can expect once it's open, fully available in 2025.
Yeah.
One more time, tell us about the dates of these wonderful events that we've been talking about.
Sure. The Cherry Blossom Day is going to be March 18th. And I think it's important to know that that's by state statute. It is a Senate bill that was passed in 2017, making the third Saturday of March Cherry Blossom Day. And that'll take place in State Capitol State Park from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Then we have the Yozakura, which will be the nightly illumination of the cherry trees from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., March 25th to April 1st. And then March 27th to April 1st is the Spring Break Passport to Fun program.
Thank you so much, Stacy. We've been talking to Stacy Nalley, Public Outreach Coordinator for the Oregon State Capitol. Lots to look forward to. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And thank you for joining us. I'm Wendy Brokaw.